everybody, today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a sports graphic with very limited content. So what I like to do is set my file into 1920 by 1080 pixels, and we're going to set it to 72 pixels per inch RGB. And for our purpose today, we're going to use the portrait mode. This is just a general social media standard. Usually it's horizontal though. Now we're going to open our photo that we're going to cut out. This is a stock photo from Unsplash. And what I usually like to do before I cut it out is make a copy of the photo just in case something happens to it, and then make a transparent layer underneath it. There's a number of ways you can cut out a photo here. What I usually like to do is use the pen tool, but you can also use the quick selection tool if you have a bunch of photos you need to cut out and you can just be selected on the photo layer and just kind of clean up the edges. Or what you could also do is create a layer mask right here, and you can use the brush tool. And what I like to use sometimes is the Wacom tablet whenever I need to get close, and it's pressure sensitive, so you can just go around them. Make sure your brush is all the way on black and on normal and 100% opacity, and you can just go around them with that, which is easier with a Wacom tablet. Like I said, I like to use the pen tool, so you hit P, make sure you select on photo, and we're just going to have it at the pen tool. Once you have all of your photos selected, go to Pass and select the dotted circle, and hit Command-Shift-I for you to select the inverse and then delete. From there, you can take the photo that's cut out, and we just copy-paste it into the file, and just hit Command-T to transform it how you want to. Then we're going to place our background, and this is another stock photo that's from Unsplash. And we're just going to resize it to our board. Now we're going to go to Camera Raw Filter so we can edit the photo a little bit. This is a great tool that I love to use, especially down here with the clarity, vibrance, saturation, dehaze. It just really gives a little bit of that extra realness to it. And now I like to go through the layers adjustments and just kind of pick through what I like. And what I like here is lighten. And it just kind of blends in a little bit better with it. And now I'm on a different layer, and I'm using the brushes that I have. These are Kyle brushes that I got from Creative Cloud. What I'm doing here is selecting one so I can add a little bit of texture. I know it already is a little bit full of texture, but just gives it a little bit more. And I'm just going through and seeing the kind of color and adjustment that I like for it. And what I'm doing here is, it was white, but I'm replacing it with black now. And I selected the color balance so that I am adjusting my background a little bit more to the color of the jersey, which was a little bit kind of more of a green. So I'm just adjusting that to that. And I like to use the dodge tool for midtones and shadows, which kind of brings out a little bit of the blacks, a little bit of the darker colors that you want, adding in some shadows that don't look really too forced. They're really natural looking. And you can use the dodge tool as well to do kind of the opposite and add some highlights to it as well. And what I'm doing here is color dropping the background, doing the soft brush. And it's a really good idea to go ahead and name your layers to begin with. I'm kind of bad at that to begin with, but it's best so that you don't lose your place and you don't go back and think, where is everything? But I took the color and I made it a little bit darker, and what I'm doing is going around creating sort of a vignette for it. It's best to use the soft brush for this and on normal, and I turned down the opacity just a little bit so it's not too harsh. And then that's just kind of just depending on the pressure of it, really. And here's where it gets kind of tricky. Once you get your text in, you can take forever to figure out what text you want, or even how it's placed, but the placement is pretty much everything. And I'm just typing something random here, but I figured that I should go ahead and turn it back horizontal because that's the way I feel like it would look better in the end. Usually for the text, I have some sort of guidance on what I am typing, but for today I'm going to be typing a quote. What I'm doing here is I am selecting the leading and I'm just dragging so I can adjust them to how I want it to be. And that's in the character panel. And we're just gonna select some of the text and make it a little bit bigger so that you can have some emphasis and drama involved in it too. And I'm gonna separate that picture a little bit from it so that it's not colliding with the text. And here I've just copy pasted so that I still have the kind of the same format and the same font. And I just made the quotation marks bigger so that it also has a little bit of emphasis to it. And again, I'm copy pasting this so I can have the same font. I did the dash and it didn't turn out to have the same font anyways, but that's okay. So this is called Zing and I got it from defont.com. And usually I like to left align everything, but for this I do have the end of them and the beginning of Michael aligned, so it's just really about, you know, your grid and your alignment and what you like and what looks good, of course. And what I like to do is copy and paste my background, make a copy of it, put it on top and do an adjustment layer. Like here I have multiply and I put it on top of the text too, so that it has a little bit of texture on top of the text and not just something empty there. And there you pretty much have it.